welcome to another recap of The Amazing Race. Alright, so they were in Buenos Aires last week and they are flying to Turin, Italy. Bopper was pretty excited because he wanted to go somewhere tropical and he got his wish with Italy. Alright, so unfortunately you had to book your flight at the travel agent before you got to the airport, and Mark and Bopper went directly to the airport. So Art and JJ were kind of like, dude, you gotta go back and go to see the travel agent and book it there first. And they were like, are you serious? And well, I can't do their southern accent, their Tennessee accent, I think it is, but yeah, or is it Kentucky? I'm not sure where they're from. Homer says it's probably Tennessee. Alright, so everyone ended up on the same flight except for Mark and Bopper, which kind of sucks because they probably shouldn't have been last. But they didn't know. They did their best. They don't know these things. They probably haven't done a lot of travel before. So they were 1 hour and 15 minutes behind all the other teams. So once you get to Italy, you have to find your Ford Focus, and you got to drive to a weird building. It was really kind of weird. It was like the Guggenheim Museum, but it was empty on the inside. You know, it had that conch shell inside where you walk around up the ramps. It was really cool. So there was either a fast forward there or the roadblock, and if you wanted to attempt the fast forward, which Art and JJ did, you had to land a helicopter on like a helipad. But the helipad was really on a helmet on your partner's head, and the helicopter was one of those little toys. So it was harder than it looked, I suppose, because it took them a little bit of time. Yeah, if you don't usually fly those, you know, perhaps it would have been easier for Dave, the helicopter pilot of Dave and Rachel. They were having a lot of tension between them because he really wanted to try it, but she was like, duh, I think somebody already tried it. We weren't exactly the first ones here. Duh. Alright, so the roadblock was rappelling down the inside of that spiral building. But the trick there was you had to grab the clue within 2 minutes. Vanessa, fail, first time. She had to go all the way to the bottom, run back up the ramps, and try again. Alright, so next clue says National Auto Museum. Well, it was in Italian, but I'm English. Well, I'm American, so I'm going to speak English. Yeah, you had to park on the street, and you had to use the parking assist thing in the Ford Focus, which I have to admit is extremely cool. Homer thinks it was amazing. Yeah, it really was. He's trying to knock over the camera. He thinks it was so amazing. So Brendan and Rachel started fighting because when they got into the museum, they didn't know what was going on with the penny that was on the Tin Lizzie that they had to find. They thought you had to stick it somewhere. So they lost a lot of time not realizing that they needed to go to the building that was on it. And yeah, so the fighting began, and it continued for most of the episode. You know, Brendan, it's not okay. You can't yell at me and be mean. And he's all like, oh, we'll quit right now then. I don't need this race. I just, you know. The two of them belong together. Let's just say that. Alright, so there was lots of Santa Clauses out on the street. I guess they filmed this around the holiday time. I don't know what they were doing there. But Brendan and Rachel, oh, the fighting. Our marriage is over! So, the building that they had to go to was amazing. It had this interior dome that was like open, and you had to take an elevator to the top, and once you got up there on the observation deck, the clue was up there, and it was a detour. It was either clean a statue or name that salami. You had to identify 14 different kinds of salami. Sounds pretty difficult. I thought it was hilarious when Brendan said that Vanessa and Ralph were the ogre and the trifling hoe. He's right on the money. I'm sorry, I just don't like them. She is such a mean girl. You know, I think Brendan and Rachel are really misunderstood. They might be dumb and bad at relationships, but I really don't think she's that mean. Or him. Alright, so everyone ended up doing the statues except for Brenchel and Kerry and Stacy. I didn't realize that the heads were not attached to those statues, and I guess some of the racers didn't either, so they had like these pressure washers, and it was kind of weird to see them blow the heads off. It was really weird. Alright, during the salami challenge, it was taking Brendan and Rachel a really long time because all of the salamis really started to taste the same after a while, and they kind of had a major freak out. They needed major freak out control. And when Rachel was like, Brendan, the Amazing Race is supposed to be good and fun, and it's not. So let's talk about the pit stop. Alright, so it was at Piazza Castello, which is this big plaza, and Art and JJ came in first, obviously, because they had the fast forward. Not fast forward, they had the fast forward. Right, so they each ended up winning $5,000 each, which was not too shabby. Rachel and Dave came in second. Joey and Danny came in third. I don't know how that happened. I guess they did a good job of cleaning that babe statue. Vanessa and Ralph, fourth place. Of course, she was all snotty about Rachel and her sequin top, and oh, I bet she's gonna go eat the sausage. So petty. Alright, Nary and Jamie came in fifth. Brendan and Rachel came in sixth. Kerry and Stacy were right behind them in seventh, and Bopper and Mark unfortunately came in last place. So Art and JJ, they're dear friends. They really feel for them, and especially Bopper's 7-year-old daughter. They said, we will split the money we won with you, which was a really nice gesture. I mean, really nice. They didn't have to do that, especially since it was a non-elimination round. So how weird would it be if Art and JJ got eliminated? Because, you know, it is the Amazing Race. You can go from first place to last place like that. So that would really suck. But anyway, they gave them half the money. They're getting another shot next week. And they're going to Bavaria. Can't wait. Till then, much love.